This video is spoiler free! Hello and welcome to another Doctor Who book review. Today I shall be taking a look at this behemoth, the Target Storybook. I've been really excited about this since the day it was announced, and I think I actually got it the week it came out, maybe the week after. And I've finally finished reading it. If you don't know, the stories in this book are all based around television stories and are designed to sort of expand on certain elements from those stories. For example, the Fourth Doctor story is set during the Five Doctors, but from the Fourth Doctor's perspective. So in this video, I'll be giving a brief rundown of each of the stories and my thoughts on them. Like I said, this video is spoiler free, but I will be talking about when and where the stories are set, so if you don't want to know anything about it, then don't watch this video. Or skip to this timestamp and you can hear my concluding thoughts on the book overall. But if you do want to know a bit more about the stories, or you just want to hear my thoughts on them, then do stay tuned. The first story is Gatecrashers, a brand new 13th Doctor story, written by Joy Wilkinson, who I think wrote The Witchfinders. I'll have to Google that. Pretty sure she did. It features the regular Series 11 cast and they're all characterised really well. It's a really quick but fun ride and I can't really fault it in any way. Good stuff. The next story is Journey Out of Terror, which has a very targety title, and it features the First Doctor and is set somewhere during the chase. It's also written from the perspective of Ian and Barbara. It's in the first person, which is again very targety. It's another fairly enjoyable one. Not the best of the book, but still enjoyable. Up next is Save Yourself by the wonderful Terrance Dicks, who gives us a really great story featuring the second Doctor after the War Games. So yeah, Season 6B is canon, folks. This really is one of the highlights from the book, and it's a real shame that we'll never get any more stories from Terrance Dicks. Although, there is a book coming out soon that's like a compilation of all of his best Target books in one big book, which will probably be a very chunky book. The Clean Air Act features the Third Doctor, Jo and Unit, and is another fun adventure with a really great message at its core. It feels very of the era, whilst also going a lot bigger than the TV show ever could. There's also some really nice character stuff from the Doctor, Jo, and even the Brigadier. Punting is another highlight from the book. As I said, it's the Five Doctors from the Fourth Doctor's perspective, which is something I've always really wanted to see. The banter between the Doctor and Romana is on point in this story, and it's really nice to finally have an answer to one of Doctor Who's oldest questions. Oh, I do love the autumn. The Dark River is written by Matthew Waterhouse. I assume that's why he's on the cover. This story is actually one of my least favourites from the book. Not that there's anything wrong with it, it just doesn't really work for me. There's a really great idea in it that I really like, but just the way it's done in the story, I'm not a massive fan of. I don't know, it's just not for me. I'm sure lots of people out there enjoy this story, and that's fair enough, but personally, I don't know. On the other hand, Interstitial Insecurity really does work for me. It's written by Colin Baker himself, and it takes place between Mind Warp and Terror of the Vervoids in The Trial of a Time Lord. It's really nice to actually get inside the head of the Doctor as well. It's not written from his perspective, but because it is written by Colin Baker, it does go quite in depth into what he's thinking and how he's feeling, especially considering that Perry died. It also sets up Terror of the Vervoids really nicely, and it clears up a lot of questions, actually, that I had about that story. So yeah, it's really just a lot of fun, and it's definitely one of my favourites from the entire book. The Slyther of Shoreditch takes place, I think, some point during Remembrance of the Daleks, and it features the Seventh Doctor battling a Slyther in Shoreditch. It also features the rather interesting return of a minor character from a long time ago, which is a bit odd, but okay, it's nice to see them back. The story is another entertaining romp, but I'm a bit confused as to when it takes place. Is it during Remembrance? Or after Remembrance? Or before Remembrance? Or I don't know. I've not seen Remembrance in a really long time. I don't have it on DVD. So surely this doesn't take place during Remembrance, because it's a lot to go on during that story. I don't know. But it's fun, nevertheless. We Can't Stop What's Coming is the 8th Doctor story in this book, and it features Fitz and Trix, two characters I had never heard of before. So I did have to do a little bit of research before reading this story. Considering that Dark Eyes McGann features on the cover, I was kind of hoping for a Liv and Helen kind of story, but sadly not. But Fitz and Trix are kind of cool anyway, so I'm not complaining too much. It's a really great timey-wimey story, and there's a really nice nod to something at the end, which I really wish we could have seen more of, especially considering the title of the story. But yeah, it's another really good one. Up next is Decoy, written by George Mann, and it features the War Doctor. It makes sense that George Mann would write this considering he wrote Engines of War, which I've heard is very, very good. I've not read it, but I need to get on that. I really should read that. Decoy is also just a fantastic story. It's another one of the highlights. It's just a really great timey-wimey, time war story. It's just fun. It's also just really nice to see the War Doctor getting some more love. The next story is Grounded, and actually doesn't feature the 9th Doctor, instead focusing on Clive Finch. Before Rose, before the Autons, before he dies. It's a decent little story, and it's got some really nice character stuff from Clive. It's really quite heartwarming. Clive is just the best. I love Clive. The Turning of the Tide features Rose and the Meta-Crisis 10th Doctor, now calling himself Corin. Corin? That is how you say that, right? Corin, not Corinne. Corin. This is another one of my favourite stories from the book, partially because it features Clark, who is just... I love Clark. If you've read it, you know that Clark is just the best character in anything ever. The villains are also really great. They have a really terrifying name. I don't know what it is, but that really scares me. It's just another proper great Doctor Who story. I love it to bits. Citation Needed is weird, but in a good way. It's written from the perspective of the Encyclopedia Gallifreya, if that's how you say that. It's the book from Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS that Clara opens. I think it's that book. It might not be, but it's a book in the TARDIS. Also, it's not really an 11th Doctor story. If anything, it's a 13th Doctor story, but I won't go into that. Whatever kind of story it is, it's a good one. And it's really funny as well, actually. Just real fun stuff. Next up is Pain Management, which was a bit disappointing. Despite it focusing on some of my favourite characters in the history of Doctor Who, that being the Series 10 TARDIS team, something about it just didn't really click with me, and I was a little bit disappointed. It was quite good though. I'm sure a lot of people will enjoy it, but personally, didn't really do much for me. And finally, we have Letters from the Front, written by Vinny Patel, who wrote Demons of the Punjab, which makes sense because this is about Demons of the Punjab. It's basically a collection of letters from the front, and it also features some stuff with the Thajarians, which is quite cool. I really enjoyed reading more about the Thajarians, and it was great to see more about the actual war that was going on, because I really don't know anything about that period in history, so it was great to get a bit of education about it. I feel like it ended a bit suddenly. I would have liked to have seen a bit more of it, especially more of the Thajarians, but, you know, saying you want more of something isn't really a complaint, it's a good thing. So yeah, it was good. Overall, for the Target storybook, it's fantastic. There is very few duds, and the ones that are duds are still really enjoyable. There's still a lot to like about them. If you're a Doctor Who fan, definitely pick this up. If you're more casual and don't know much about the classic series, I'm maybe not sure. The new series stuff is great, but the classic stuff is really quite lore heavy, so I wouldn't recommend this to newcomers. But to die-hard fans, or even just sort of fans who've seen a lot of the classic series, definitely pick this up. It's really, really great. So yeah, that's it for this video. I think. I hope you did enjoy it. If you enjoy these book reviews, then please do let me know, because I want to read more. Reading is great. Reading is fun, guys. I sound really sad saying that, but reading is good. If there's any other Doctor Who books, or just books in general, that you would like to see me review, then please do let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, that's it for this video. I really, really hope you did enjoy it. And yeah, laugh hard, run fast, be kind. Bye bye. Right, you.